The following is a pre-recorded show. Welcome to Winning in Retirement with your host, Brian Akers, certified financial planner professional and founder of Akers Financial Group. Now, helping you win in your retirement, here's Brian Akers.
Welcome to Winning in Retirement. I'm Brian Akers from Akers Financial Group. I'm founder and president of Akers Financial Group, also a certified financial planner practitioner. This show is called Winning in Retirement, and we want you to win in your retirement years by being prepared. And that's why we brought on our co-host today, Paul Franco. Good morning, Paul.
Hey, good morning, Brian.
It's great to have you here on the show today, and I look forward to hearing you talk about our show and all the information we have.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, too.
Now, I'm going to call you a younger advisor today, just to use that word. But you've been with us at Akers Financial Group since 2017.
Yep.
And as you're finishing up your college years and getting your MBA, and you've got your license for being a stockbroker, an investment advisor representative, and life and health. So you're licensed up and
fully licensed.
All prepared for a number of years being a financial advisor with our clients, and you've done a great job with many people. Many times you are working with clients of all ages, but what's the exciting part is we want to design a show together that's going to be about taking your experience that you've done to help yourself.
Right. And that's the idea is I've lived it.
Yes.
I started out as a client of Akers Financial back when I was 17.
Right.
So I've really lived that idea of, when to call an advisor.
Absolutely. And so what happens is we're going to have a show today and we're going to talk about a lot of things. You can always go to our website at akersfinancialgroup.com. On that radio tab, you can actually check us out. Find out more information about us. You also can listen to past shows. Now, the reason that we enjoy doing Winning in Retirement is about preparing people to accomplish things that are going on in their life, and also the ability to help others in their life. In other words, this show can be for all ages, but especially for anyone just getting started in their career, really should listen to this show, especially if you're near or into retirement. There'll be good information for you and for your children, grandchildren. You can have them go listen to through the website at akersfinancialgroup.com, where they can actually go to our podcast and listen to it there also. The show is going to be talking about many things that talk about financial planning and making sure that you're prepared for your retirement years. That makes it very, very important. Now, Paul, the idea of saver versus debtor, just give me a quick view of the definition of saver and debtor. What do you think?
Yeah, well, being a saver is being able to use those extra funds that come in from income and being able to save a portion of it rather than spending it right away.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of the general idea of being a good saver is not spending every dollar that comes in.
Absolutely. What happens in America is we get told all kinds of things to spend their money on. It's a constant bombardment on our finances, right?
Yeah.
And then they give us free access to credit without any income. And before we know it, we're in debt. And you're rolling. And rolling downhill in a financial planning way, right?
Right. Absolutely.
And so what we got to do is make sure we're doing the right thing for our long term, because no one's going to prepare for your future like you are. You just got to keep working hard as you can, right there, Paul?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I agree.
I really do agree with that. All right. So the show today is called When to Make That First Call. When do you call a financial advisor? Now, what we're going to try to do is this. We want you to win in your retirement years. That doesn't mean next year when you want to retire, but in your years. When is that going to happen for you? Yeah, that might be 40 years away, but good habits today will help you win in retirement. Why is this so important for someone in their 20s, Paul?
Absolutely. Whether you're in your 20s, 30s, or 40s, it's a matter of starting that process. It's not ever too late. Obviously, the earlier you start, the better. But it's never too late.
It's a mindset, right?
Absolutely.
Now, you're a college athlete. You played soccer in Division III.
Ex-college athlete.
Okay, you were?
I was.
Okay, but you had 4 years. Were you captain of the soccer team?
Sure was.
Absolutely. And the reason you were successful wasn't because of a bad mindset. You had a proper mindset. You got yourself ready, prepared, and you were ready for each and every event throughout your career, correct?
Absolutely. And it's important to know when to ask for help.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And that's something that I've done in my life, and it's been very helpful for me.
All right. So winning in retirement sounds like someone in their 50s or 60s ought to be concerned about that. Now, why should someone in their 20s even think about the word retirement?
Well, the decisions you make in your 20s can drastically impact how soon you can retire, what retirement looks like.
Have you seen that people make bad decisions early on and then it takes them a long time to correct the problem?
Absolutely. It takes years to take away some of those decisions you made through either debt, bad debt decisions. And so there are different decisions you make when you're early in your life that really impact, what retirement looks like.
So imagine this, you're in college and then you go through the bookstore or wherever you're at and you get a free credit card and you find the magic of the credit card, how it's not really real money until
it is.
Until the month later and you get this bill, and that bill is a lot higher than you thought it was. But you had a lot of fun for 1 month. You got what you wanted or needed and everything extra. But then you're sitting there with a credit card bill, and then that begins this path of being in debt. We'd rather you, as you're listening to this, become a saver. Imagine you're driving around on a Saturday morning, you're hearing a radio show, when to make the first call, and you're hearing these guys on the radio show talk about, you got to be a saver. Well, how do you become a saver? What's your recommendation there, Paul?
Well, I will say that credit cards inherently aren't bad. It's the problem is not paying them off in a timely manner.
Right.
So you can really use credit cards to your advantage. But as far as being a saver goes, it's important to be stashing some money away into an emergency type fund, something that you have for emergencies so you don't go into further any credit card debt.
Right. So you want to have a balance of your goals in life to help yourself say no to things you don't absolutely need. And that becomes a very hard thing to do when you have a credit card, because it doesn't feel like real money that you're spending.
Yes, absolutely.
It's plastic money, right?
Right.
All right. So normally in financial planning, what I always start people with is this. To build your foundation of finances, let's do the first three things. They are protect your family from things that can go wrong, build an emergency fund, and pay off personal debt. Those are three key ingredients to get started in financial planning. Then you can do many other things after that. But the first one is protecting your family from the worst things that can happen, which usually means making sure you have the right kind of insurance. What kind of insurance are you talking about here, Paul?
This is typically term type coverage or even a group life coverage that you get through your job, but having enough coverage to cover a mortgage or cover your debts in case something happened to you.
Absolutely. So term insurance is the cheapest way of owning life insurance. That's in case you pass away and you're married or have a debt and you have someone responsible. Now, what other kinds of insurance do you consider?
There's whole life, there's universal life, and each of those types of insurances have different benefits to them.
Right. And then through the group, there's lots of benefits through the group plans?
Absolutely. And usually you get a portion of it's covered by your employer. So that's essentially free coverage that you get from your employer. But then you're able to buy additional insurance through your employer without having to show your insurability.
All right. So someone's a new employee. What are the different kinds of insurance they should sign up for when they get hired?
Well, you'd want to make sure you have group life insurance, a term type benefit from your employer. You want to have disability insurance, long-term, short-term. A lot of times even portions of that are covered by your employer. But it's really important to understand your benefit package. When you understand your benefit package, it helps you make those decisions for what is the best decision for me here. Absolutely.
Now, healthcare, you usually buy that through your employer.
Yes, a lot of times it's covered or a portion of it's covered from the employer, and health insurance is critical, absolutely. Depending on the type of health insurance plan, you might even be eligible to make deposits into what's called an HSA account, another type of deferred account that you use for tax-free healthcare costs.
What's it called again? HSA?
HSA, Health Savings Account. Yes, sir.
Now, this would be a kind of insurance that's through your work where it has a high deductible, which might scare you away from it, but it makes the premium cheaper, then allows you to set aside other money that would go into this health savings account that can grow tax-free and be used for medical care during your year or throughout the years or even in your retirement years. A health savings account is one of the better items out there that many people miss out on.
Yes. And even if you are aware of this now, you're saying, I know I have an HSA. I make contributions to the HSA. How do you use it most efficiently?
Absolutely.
I believe that paying small prescription costs out of pocket even makes more sense than to allow that HSA to grow for you tax-free.
Especially the younger the people are.
Absolutely.
Tax-free. If you hear one thing today, it's this. When they get started, when they make that first call, right now. The second part is tax-free. We love that. Whatever ways we can create tax-free accounts, the better. HSA is one of the first ones we're talking about today. All right, so first quarter here. Why should you try to win in retirement? To win in retirement, you need to have a balance of your personal goals. You need to make sure that you understand that no one else is going to prepare for your future than you. You need to have an advisor coach you and help you get to those goals, to reach them, to help you understand where to save, how to save, what boxes to check with your job. Make sure you have the right benefits, have it all organized. When you sit down with someone like this, you begin with our financial fingerprint and go through these kind of ideas?
Absolutely. We go from top to bottom. We look at your income. We look at your bank accounts. We look at the coverage that you have through insurance. We look at investment accounts. We look at everything.
Absolutely. That's good financial planning. Now, financial planning is something that each person should do so they can allocate their money with the right kind of purpose behind it. Now, we're talking about protecting the family by having proper insurance. This also involves your auto and home, making sure you cover it properly. Make sure you have a renter's policy to cover in case there's something go wrong at your rental property. You don't want to lose all of your electronic equipment and not have insurance for it.
Absolutely.
Do you know if your car gets stolen, there's a very small limit on electronics that might have disappeared in that car. Your homeowner's covers the extra.
Yep.
You ever had that happen to you?
Nope, thankfully not.
I have
the coverage, though.
I had the coverage and I had the car stolen, so it's brutal.
Oh,
but the homeowner's cover is a piece, which is very nice. All right, so here in the first quarter, today we're talking about when to make that first call. The answer is right now. You want to give Akers Financial Group a call to sit down and talk about your personal finances, your financial fingerprint, which is where you are. And then right now we've talked about why winning in retirement is important. It's because no one else is going to plan but you. And then we talked about some basic fundamentals. That is this. Make sure you protect your family from any of the worst case scenarios. Make sure you begin with financial planning. Now, Akers Financial Group, we're local. We're independent. We don't report to a big company on Wall Street. We report to you. We have offices in Forest Hill and Lutherville and clients all around Maryland and even all around the country and a few around the world. It's so easy to begin winning in retirement. Just give us a call and schedule your free meeting with one of our team of advisors by calling 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE. We'll give you a call on Monday to schedule your free in-person or Zoom meeting. Go to AkersFinancialGroup.com or call us at 833-946-7384 to start planning for your retirement now. How do you eat an elephant? We will explain and talk about what this has to do with retirement planning when we come back in just a moment.
You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. I'm Brian Akers. Today I have with me financial planning advisor Paul Franco. You ready to go here in the second quarter, Paul?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, Paul Franco has been with Akers Financial Group since 2017. He's a financial advisor. He's got his MBA, and he's ready to work here on the radio.
Yes.
Just like you do in the office.
I've been blessed to have a group of advisors here at Akers Financial that have been able to help me grow in my practice as well. Really smart individuals here. It's really awesome.
All right. Let's see how smart you are, Paul. Tell me how to eat an elephant.
You want to sprinkle a little cheese and some Italian dressing on it?
I know you are Italian.
You know, Italian
Franco.
dressing is pasta sauce to the Italian.
Pasta sauce.
That's right.
It's a gravy, or what do you guys?
The gravy. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. That's mafia talk.
Yeah, well, that's Mama Franco. She can really make some gravy.
She sure can.
She actually taught my wife years ago.
She sure can.
Yeah, she taught my wife how to do it.
Yeah.
That was great. All right, so here on the radio show, it's not about pasta or pasta sauce, but when you want to eat an elephant, it doesn't matter what you put on it. It's still elephant. The idea is you're going to eat an elephant. I told this to one of my clients. She's from Austria. I said, how do you eat an elephant? She goes, I would never.
Right?
In an Austrian accent, I can't do that. But I would never, Brian. And then she was like talking to me. And then I said, well, if we were going to try to eat an elephant, we'd only be able to eat one bite at a time. We need to take it slowly. We don't want to try to eat the whole thing at one time.
Yes.
And then she laughed at me.
It makes me wonder if there is some sort of, in different countries, there are delicacies out there where it's different type of animals. If elephant's actually one of those out there. I don't know.
I had a client went on vacation to Iceland, and horse was on the menu.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, you have? Yeah, I've never heard that. That was a rough one.
I couldn't partake myself, but...
All right. So today's show is when to make that first call. Now, of course, we're talking about how to eat an elephant, and how does that tie into the first call? The first call is about, are you ready to begin to prepare to win in your retirement years? No matter what age, you have to change your mindset to be able to begin the process of saving and having a coach, a financial advisor come alongside to help you do the things you need to do to make sure you accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish. That's exactly what we're trying to start with. Now, how do you eat an elephant? In other words, how do you start eating an elephant? How does someone start with financial planning when they meet with you, Paul?
The idea is it's got to be one bite at a time. You can't eat an elephant in one bite, in one sitting. You have to start the process slowly. You have to start somewhere.
Absolutely. So what do you mean? Where do you start?
Well, ideally, we start at looking at having an idea of what your numbers are.
Right.
We want to know what your net worth. We want to know your income. We want to know what your numbers are.
Yeah. So what happens in life is that normally we out of school, high school, college, wherever we are, we have our first job. And that truly becomes our very first item of financial decisions we need to make. And so that paycheck is a concept that we have to make sure we have an answer for our whole career. So what are some ideas on a paycheck, Paul?
Yes, it's one of those that when you get your first paycheck, it's really exciting, but there's decisions you can make without how to allocate those funds that really can impact a retirement plan, but also setting aside buckets towards different goals.
Absolutely. So buckets. You like buckets.
I love buckets. Well, I love buckets.
All right. So let's use buckets. I mean, people who listen to the radio show might know I like cows, but we can go with buckets too.
Right. Yep.
So imagine your first bucket. You're hauling in the buckets called your paycheck, and that paycheck,
a single bucket.
You're bringing that bucket in, and then I always recommend that people should think about what they should tithe first. So I think giving back to God first is a very important part of anyone's budget.
Absolutely.
And it should be absolutely first. But then there's another concept after that. What is that?
Well, it's the idea that you have these different buckets that have different goals behind them. So you might have a bucket towards saving towards a down payment on a house, or possibly, obviously, saving towards retirement. This is winning in retirement. This is the show. Also, being able to start a business. That's what I've met with clients recently that have these different goals in mind. And so the paycheck, now we have to make it work for them the best way.
Absolutely. So I think I would call it pay yourself first. So pay yourself first means this. What are your goals? Let's set aside 5, 10, 15% of your money and put it towards your goals, short-term, medium, and long-term. You can call them medium, long-term buckets.
Yes.
And you put them out there, and you're building this money as part of a plan.
And a lot of times it's those terms, right? Short term, mid term, long term. That is going to determine how those funds are being invested as well.
Some people have paychecks where they can actually direct it to multiple accounts.
Yeah.
In other words, you have direct deposit checking. You can also send some money to a savings, maybe a brokerage firm or a brokerage account where you can start to invest.
Yes, and that's a great concept and idea, and that should be utilized.
Right. So buckets. So we're working with buckets. So buckets, I heard, have leaks in it. You ever heard that?
They do sometimes.
What's in your bucket? Water or milk?
We're going with tomato sauce today, Brian.
Oh, really? I don't have a joke for tomato sauce. All right. So water, I was going to say, people go, wow about water falling.
Yeah.
If you spilt your milk, everybody cries over spilt milk. Now, tomato sauce, what happens when you spill tomato sauce?
Well, Italians cry the same way.
They do.
You don't want to spill any of your tomato sauce.
No, never.
Never.
All right. So your bucket of tomato sauce comes in, paycheck. For those who don't understand the reference, your paycheck comes in. You need to know what you're going to do with it. If you do not plan for your paycheck, you will spend every dime of it. Is that something you've seen?
And it happens all the time. And I see it all the time. And you have to make sacrifices.
Normally, people spend all their money they make. no matter what they make. Now, one of my early career clients, he was a vice president of a company, very high up, and did very, very well. Made so much money, I thought he didn't need a budget. Because I was thinking, oh man, how could anyone spend that kind of money? Mm-hmm. I mean, he has over $500,000 a year, and I'm thinking, oh, he doesn't need a budget. We met 3 or 4 times, and then it came down to it. He didn't know where his money was going. It was as simple as he didn't know where it was going.
Yes.
He knew that at the end of the month, there was no money left over. No matter how much he brought in, it was gone by the end of the month.
Yeah, you could be making $500,000 a year and be spending that, or even more, and put yourself in a worse place than somebody that's making a quarter of that, but doesn't spend nearly that amount and still stashes some towards their retirement.
Some of our best savers as clients are people who have never made more than $50,000 in a year. They've been able to save a lot of money and let it grow over time, let compounding build the money wealth over time. People that make a lot of money, the hardest part is sometimes they spend a lot of money. So the reality of this is, where does your paycheck go? Where's that money going? Have you ever looked? I think you should. It's one of those pieces about when someone's getting ready to retire, they do have to look at their budget, see where their money is. If someone comes in and we talk financial planning at no matter what age, we're going to talk about, well, where does your money go? What's your priorities in life?
And keeping a budget is so important. However it looks, a lot of times people use Excel sheets. Nowadays, there's apps you can use, and I like a lot of the apps you can use. Dave Ramsey has a great app, the Every Dollar app that you can use. That's a free way to budget.
Is that how you do it, Paul Franco?
Yes, that sure is.
And what does that tell you? Just basically.
Well, the idea is that each portion of your savings, each portion of your money that's coming in has to have a goal behind it. Okay. So the money that's coming in, it's allocated to different funds. There's debt payments, there's savings.
It's the old envelope plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
I used to have this one client. He would cash a paycheck, take it home, and put it on top of his dresser in envelopes and assign every dollar into it. And so that's the same concept, but electronic, right?
Similar.
That's worked pretty well for you?
It does. And it doesn't need to be perfect. But it gives you a good framework for getting started somewhere.
What happens a lot of times when people get their first job is they buy everything they've ever dreamed of having, and they spend it. And then if they have a credit card, they start to build the credit card because they can have it now, pay it later. Why not?
Yeah. That's not a habit you want to start. And just like you mentioned, Brian, compound interest, the idea of interest compounding for you, for your benefit. When you go into credit card debt, those high interest rates, they compound interest against you. Mm-hmm. So it's really important that you use that compound interest to your benefit.
I guess we got to talk about that subject, and that is this. Building your foundation, sometimes you got to get out of the hole you're in before you can really reach your other goals in life. So let's say the hole is debt. How do you work with someone that might have multiple credit cards already?
Well, a lot of times we want to make sure that we're paying the higher interest ones first. And is there not a way we can do that, then maybe we start snowballing it and we take the smaller ones and then roll those into the larger ones. There's different debt payment strategies that I like to use.
So snowball is just like you're rolling a snowball on the ground. It gets bigger and bigger.
Yep.
So you pay off the small debt and you pay the next size and you keep rolling the same payment up and up and up. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And that's an easy way to actually try to reduce your debt. If you need help with that, you can give us a call, Akers Financial Group. You can also go online. I'll type in the word snowball debt and read about it.
Absolutely.
And understand that if you want to get out of debt, you can. You just need to do the work it takes. And it means some sacrifice. It means you got to tell yourself no.
And that can be very hard.
That's un-American.
It's completely un-American. We're so consumer driven as a country. We're always looking to what can we spend money on next.
Now you've had some big goals. One big goal was to have a house.
Yes,
and so you've set aside a lot of money that way, haven't you?
Yes, it's been a long process. Setting up a down payment account to cover a house, and every year that I've waited, unfortunately, the price that I've needed has gone up between the interest rate and the house market going up. Right,
house market's outrunning your saving ability.
It sure is.
Yeah, hopefully the house market will level out and be easier for first-time home buyers.
Absolutely.
But the idea, though, is you had a goal to save a down payment so you can have lower interest and lower other payments in life, which I think is the right way to buy that first house.
Correct. And that was one of the goals. And that's the idea we talked about before of balancing your goals. And that was just one of them, right? That's a huge goal of mine, was to save enough for a down payment on a house.
Absolutely. Now, what we've been trying to talk about here is how do you eat an elephant? And it's one bite at a time. Just like any of these financial topics, you address that topic, that situation, one situation at a time. At Akers Financial Group, everything we do is about you. Your retirement and financial planning is as unique as your fingerprint. When you sit down with us, we start by taking a look at your financial fingerprint. We talk about you and where you are right now. What is your net worth? How do you invest? How much are you earning? Then we talk about what you want your retirement to look like, to feel like. That's your retirement fingerprint. Perhaps you've been sold something, regardless of whether you needed it or not. Not at Akers Financial Group. With us, your retirement money follows your financial fingerprint. It's a retirement plan based on your unique fingerprint that determines where your money goes. It's not about us, it's about you. Give us a call at 833-WIN-RETIRE and schedule an in-person or Zoom meeting with one of our team of advisors. 833-WIN-RETIRE, 833-946-7384, or go to our webpage at akersfinancialgroup.com. Your future self just called. What was the conversation? We'll talk about this in a future moment.
You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. I'm Brian Akers. Today with me, I have Paul Franco. I'm Brian Akers, and I'm founder and president of Akers Financial Group. That's right here in Maryland. We do work with people all around the state and all around the country. Now, Paul Franco is also a financial advisor here at Akers Financial Group. He's been with us since 2017.
Yes.
Got his MBA. All right, Paul, you ready for the second half here?
I think so.
I got an important
I'm getting a little tired, Brian.
I got an important question for you. I know your parents went to every game when you were playing soccer as a kid. Now, were you an orange slice guy, or what were you at halftime?
Well, depending on the day, I was more of a mustard guy if I had cramps.
Oh, yeah?
Mustard, kiwi.
Kiwi?
Yeah, they're high. What is it? Is it
it's your story.
Potassium? I think
it's your
potassium.
Story. Whatever.
It's one of the.
You weren't eating bananas?
I think it's potassium. Yeah. No, I'm a big anti-banana guy.
All right. So the idea at halftime is to get yourself juiced up for the second half so you can roll. Because, I mean, at halftime, we meet with the coach. We go through the locker room like we've done. We're ready to really give information here in the second half, right?
That's right.
All right. So the show today is called When to Make That First Call. The show is geared towards younger audience, but if you're listening, there are things for you to do too. This might be for your children or grandchildren to listen to. You can tell them to go to our website at akersfinancialgroup.com. Have them go to the radio tab, hit that tab, and then go down and they can listen. They can actually go to their podcast on their phone and type in Winning in Retirement. The show will pop up. You hit a like and start listening to Winning in Retirement. And you can listen to the show. The show will be called When to Make That First Call. So the thing is when should someone make that first call to a financial advisor? What is our answer? Our answer is this, should happen today, especially when you want to start reaching your own goals so that you can prepare to be winning in retirement. You don't just walk into retirement winning. You have to prepare to win in retirement. All right, Paul, so you ready to win in retirement?
Absolutely.
All right, so the question coming into this was, your future self just called. What was the conversation? Now, how do you want to explain that one?
Well, it's the idea that we talked about earlier is the decisions you make the younger you are really do drastically impact retirement. And a lot of times as you get closer to retirement, when I meet with people that say, hey, I want to retire soon, well, it's tough to tell them you're a few years off, or if you would have started saving a little sooner.
Right.
You know, it's a hard conversation to have.
Yeah, so the way I read it, being an older person, is that it's almost like me talking to you about coaching you in financial planning or in your own financial plan, and that is things that I've learned that I wish I did when I was in my 20s, or things that I did but I didn't do enough of. So I think about the following. One is this idea of compounding your money in the stock market is something you don't realize how valuable until your 50s or 60s. Because if your money starts to compound and it goes from from 1 to 2, that's a nice doubling of your money.
Absolutely. There's a cool concept called Rule of 72 that uses the S&P 500 that basically says you can divide any rate of return by 72,
right, and
that's how long it takes to double your money. So if 8% return, 72 divided by 8, it takes 9 years for you to double your money.
How about 7.2%? How many years does it take?
Takes 10.
Just testing your math genius. See how you're doing. Now, the idea is this. If you put your money and invest it and you only choose something 3%, it's going to take 24 years for your money to double. I would not call that an investment. I'd call that a parking place for your money. It's barely going to make a real rate of return after inflation, after tax. So future self just called. What would they tell you? One thing is save more money, allow it to grow, and leave your money in the stock market. Try not to market time. Try not to guess the market. Put your money in and let it grow over time. That is a very important thing to do. The other thing future self should tell you is this. Save tax-free. Pay the tax now and never again. Roth IRA, Roth 401k, Roth TSP, do the Roth. Rothify your life.
It's so important. And we are firm believers, and I'm a firm believer that taxes are going up. So if we can pay tax now, where historically tax rates are very low right now, it's really through compounding and then even eventually withdrawing, we don't have to worry about what taxes are in the future.
It's nice when the taxes would be zero because you already paid them all.
Exactly.
But that would be only if you got every dime into tax-free.
And that's obviously not always possible, but it's working on it. It's slowly, even if we have pre-tax money, maybe doing something called a Roth conversion where we convert a portion of it to Roth.
Right. All right. So Paul, we're talking about the future self calls and talks to you. Now, you're being younger, you would say the following when it comes to pensions. Say someone comes in their mid-20s.
Right.
Should they count on a pension for their future?
It's the idea of pensions outside of government employees. It's very, maybe a handful of private pension plans that are still out there. So pensions, while they were a source of income for some older individuals, it's not going to be for the younger folks.
Yeah, at all, right?
At all.
Even the government pensions keep changing.
They do. They sure do.
The ways that they have changed is they have changed the cost of living adjustments, which means to me that if you plan on retiring and being retired more than 10 years, you should have an extra savings set aside to cover the increasing costs in your retirement years. Many times the pension plan does not have an unlimited cost of living. Almost all of them do not. They have 3% max or 3% simple.
Absolutely.
There's some mathematical way that your defined benefit is going to be flat. I also believe Social Security that's going to happen also in the future. Without changes in Social Security, they're telling us on their statement every year that Social Security is going to change in our immediate future, probably by the 2030s, where they'll reduce the amount you receive in Social Security by 22% is what they're saying at the moment.
And that's the idea of self-funding retirement as much as we can, having dependable sources of income that we don't have to rely on Social Security. We aren't relying on pensions anymore. We have to be able to self-fund our retirement.
If you think about a company that had a pension plan for you, what they would do is set aside a portion of your pay for that retirement plan. You need to set aside the same thing. If your company has a match, you got to maximize your match, but that should not be the limit of what you save. So if your employer matches $1 for $1 up to 3%, don't just put 3% in. Try to get to 10 if you can, or more.
And that's the idea of compound interest. Is the longer it allows to grow for you, the better.
The more money in, the more money coming out down the road.
That's right. And you need a lot of money coming out. And that's the reality of it. If you want to retire, it's a lot of money you have to save up now.
What do you mean by that? A lot of money?
Well, the idea is, if we look at like $1 million portfolio, if you just use the 4% mark,
right,
that's $40,000 a year. What's $40,000 a year going to look like in 20, 25 years? It's not going to be much, just with the effects of inflation. So you need to have a large bucket of money. Even the idea of being a millionaire, it's almost like you have to do that to retire now.
Yeah, that's going to be the new book. It's not the millionaire next door. You have to be the millionaire.
You have to be.
It's going to be a choice of those that have and choose those that do not. Now, in America, a lot of us spend all of our money. We don't save. So the concept of saving and building up to matching this basically being on the max your match might be the big deal for you. The question would be is how do you get started? And the answer is you got to get started. If your company is offering a match on a 401k or on a TSP, you must get the money in to get that match. That's free money.
Did you get a match, Brian, when you first started at your first company?
Well, my very, very first company, I would say yes. And then I quit there and started my first company at 23. I was my own company. I did not have a retirement plan for that first company. It was more survival at that time. Then I joined a couple other ones and then affiliated, and that allowed me to get a retirement plans at that time. So yes.
Right. And even the idea of, we're talking about funding a workplace retirement plan, but there are other options, Roth IRA, something where if you're under 50, you're able to contribute $6,500 for 2023.
Yeah, that was started in 1998. So people could have had Roth IRAs for 25 years already if they've used them. We find many people walk in our door with very little Roth money. We need to have lots of Roth money. It's a very good place to save your money. In the title of Roth, you put money in after tax, it grows tax-free.
Yes, it grows tax-free, and when you withdraw that money, it comes out tax-free. That's a huge benefit, Brian.
We believe that Roth IRAs are a way to fund your retirement where that account is all yours. It's not going to get shared with anybody local, not going to be shared with federal taxes. It's money that's yours. Very important to have some money set up that way. More the better.
Yes, the idea is, hey, you tell me, you say, hey, Paul, I need $3,000 a month when you retire. And if you're all pre-tax, I'm going to have to take $4,000, $4,500 out before tax before I can get you that $3,000 net.
Yeah.
The idea of the Roth is if you want $3,000, you get $3,000 tax free.
Absolutely. So we're talking about this. Your future self just called. What are they going to tell you? Well, one of the things would be certain stocks. They might tell you, hey, you should have bought that stock 30 years ago. You'd make a lot of money. But the idea is that on the financially speaking, they would say save more. Let your money in the market stay in the market, save tax-free. These are all ideas you would tell yourself. But saving more is a very important thing. Understand this. Every little bit you save matters. If you can save $25 a pay, save it and then bump it up later. If you can save 50, do that. If you save 100, save more. Understand you got to start somewhere. You got to start now.
And don't stop contributing when the markets come down, especially when you're younger. You're almost inviting market declines. It allows you.
You want it, right?
You want it because you're able to buy more, assuming you're buying quality stocks or quality funds. Assuming you're buying those quality names, you're inviting a market downturn.
So
it allows you to buy it for more.
You don't panic on the down?
No, I actually don't. And that's actually something I've had to teach clients is that psychology that when the market's up, that's when we should be looking at maybe trimming some gains, not the flip. And when the market's down, we should be contributing maybe more if we can.
You mean buy low?
Buy low, sell high, Brian.
Sounds like a new concept. I'm not sure if anybody really agrees with that. I mean, most people want to sell when things are low and buy when things are up. It's the wrong way of doing it. Dollar cost averaging is where you save money consistently, and that's what you need to do when it comes to your retirement. So if your future self was calling you and telling you what to do, what would you say to yourself? What could you do now that would make your future self happy? That's what this quarter has been all about. Remember, the best part of retirement is going to be getting your time back, where you decide how to use it. Before retirement, your time is tied up with other commitments, mainly your job. A lot of that goes away in retirement. Your time is now consumed by things that you want to do. It's so easy to begin winning in retirement. You go to our website at akersfinancialgroup.com, scroll to the schedule a meeting section, and let us know you'd like to schedule your free consultation with one of our team of advisors. That's akersfinancialgroup.com, or give us a call at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE. We'll give you a call on Monday to schedule your free in-person or Zoom meeting. So when do you call a financial advisor? We'll explain when we get back in a minute.
You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. I'm Brian Akers, President and founder of Akers Financial Group. I'm a certified financial planner practitioner. And I want to welcome Paul Franco back to the fourth quarter of the radio show. Welcome, Paul.
It's clutch time, Brian.
Yeah, 4 quarters means it's winning time. Winning in retirement time.
That's right.
Now, this is your first radio show with us. You've been in the background, in the bullpen, warming up for a few years. So you've been anxious to get here on the microphone?
Yeah.
You feeling all right?
I feel good.
This hasn't been overwhelming?
No, not too much. It's been a lot of fun.
Now, well, the great thing, Paul, is that you have worked with us since 2017. You're prepared. You've been working with a bunch of clients. You've done a great job with our clients. The best thing is getting you out there on the radio so people can hear the advice we give people of all ages.
Absolutely.
Understanding that financial planning matters to everyone at different ages. That's why I put together this show. Today's show is called When to Make That First Call. Now, we want you to prepare to win in your retirement years. One of the biggest ways to prepare is to make that call so that you can meet a financial advisor. So when do you call to meet with a financial advisor? The answer is right now. You can give us a call. You can call us at 833-WIN-RETIRE, 833-WIN-RETIRE. You give us a call right now, then we'll call you back as soon as the office opens, and we'll schedule a time. Now, go to our website, akersfinancialgroup.com. Check us out there. You can also enter under our basically set a meeting section, and you can put some information there, and we can reach out to you that way also. So as we talk about the fourth quarter winning, you've been you've been a college athlete, and I think the greatest game I ever saw you play was the last second goal one of your friends scored. You remember that
absolutely.
One?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
that was like a countdown.
That's the ultimate clutch time goal with about 1 second left. Yeah, it wasn't me. It was just so fun soccer, to be on that team.
And soccer was awkward. It was weird because in basketball you hold for the last shot, but in soccer it's never like that. It's just you race to the goal and try to score one.
Right, and in Division III college soccer, there's a timer. There's a buzzer, so it was really a buzzer beater.
And a countdown too.
There was a countdown, right?
Yeah, that's pretty fun. I remember that day.
Those are good memories, Brian.
Yeah, that was a great memory. As a fan, it was pretty fun to watch. Now, yes, Paul Franco is working at Akers Financial Group. He's not my son. He's Paul Franco. He's an Italian guy.
Yeah, a lot of times people say, "Is this Paul Akers?" And I just go with it.
You go with it?
I go with it. There's too many acres here, you know?
Not too many. Just enough. Just enough. All right. Akers Financial Group is a family-run company with 24 employees working here.
Absolutely.
Managing money for clients all around Maryland, all around the country, and a few around the world. We actually have clients in at least 7 different countries right now. So they're working out the states. They're all U.S. citizens, but we enjoy working with Zoom and stuff wherever they end up going.
Right.
All right. So we're talking about here in this fourth quarter. So when do you call a financial advisor? Now, have you had any phone calls with brand new clients yet?
Absolutely.
And how does that phone call start?
Well, a lot of times, like I mentioned before, we may go over just the fundamentals. What is your income? What is your net worth? Mm-hmm. What are your debts? But in other situations, we may not even talk about finances. We just want to know if it's a good fit together.
Okay. Yeah. So most people come in and I always ask, so why are you coming in? What's that question? You have a question.
That should be the first question, and that always is.
I mean, people come in with something on their mind, and it's never really, I woke up this morning and I want to get my finances in order. It's not that unless it's January and they did it as one of their goals.
Yep.
Normally, they talk to someone, some event has happened in their life, and they need to get things fixed. And sometimes that's later in life. The reason we're doing this show and talking about younger people and about preparing to win is that there is no early date. When's the right time to call a financial advisor, Paul?
It should be today. It should be yesterday. It doesn't matter where you are at in your retirement phase. If you're in your 20s, if you're in your 30s, if you're in your 40s, even if you're in your 50s, we can make decisions to help you reach that goal. It's never too late, Brian.
So preparing to win. These are some of my top 10 things people have to think about. One is having the right mindset to prepare to win in retirement. You got to start by having, okay, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do the work that it'll take. Second thing is put into practice good habits. Understand choices and options that you have through your work, through investments, through your financial advisor, understanding what's going on. Where is your money going? What is a necessary expense and what's not? Understand how to pay yourself first. Make sure you are putting money aside for your future, not for anybody else's. Have a good foundation built. Calculate your numbers like college and retirement and mortgage and house, all those numbers. Understand that. Begin and continue to dollar cost average in retirement plans. Save and invest. Don't try to get rich quick by taking so much risk by doing market timing. What you need to do is understand you get wealthy over time, not get rich quick. And then the hardest thing is to stick with it. The math will tell you exactly what to do. The earlier you start, the easier and the better. And is that right, Paul?
It takes effort, Brian. It absolutely takes effort, and it takes sacrifices in a lot of cases. So,
what kind of sacrifice? What do you mean by that?
Well, you may want to go buy that brand new car when you shouldn't. Mm-hmm. So that's one example. Or
why can't I, Paul?
Well, you shouldn't.
Okay. That's because the money should go elsewhere?
You can't afford it, and you can't afford it. That's the bottom line. Is you might think you can, but what you're doing is actually hurting your future self.
You're spending money that needs to go somewhere else. Like I found on some people's budgets, like when we take a look at their budget, I say, this is where all your money's going. Is that what you want it to do? Because they go, I want to retire at 55. It's like, okay, your money's being spent on your 20 different TV monthly bills.
Absolutely.
You're spending hundreds of dollars just for internet and then every TV thing you can get. And then the reality is you're not even saving in your Roth yet.
Yeah. And it's a matter of being able to make those sacrifices, though, and to be able to tell yourself that I am really helping my future self by, maybe buying the car that's $10,000 to $15,000 instead of a $40,000, $50,000 new truck.
Right.
And then use that extra to maybe fund a Roth IRA, do something like that. It's the answer is different for everybody. Is the reality of it. That's what it's great when you meet with a financial advisor, when we meet with you and we talk about that. It's a different situation for everybody.
So the idea is not to start out wrong. If you start out in a hole where you have too much debt for the income that you have, you might not have the ability to save for years. The hardest part is getting out of that hole and then saving and becoming a true saver, where you save first and you buy when you're ready. You buy things that you plan for, not buying things that you just felt like buying. You want to take the emotions out of buying by buying things with a purpose.
Absolutely.
Now, have you ever had a friend of yours talk to you and say, hey, Paul, I'm going to call you. I'm going to call you when I'm ready. And then what's your response to that?
Yeah, it actually happens all the time. And so
especially when they find out what you do, right?
Absolutely. It's like, hey, I really should be meeting with the financial planner.
Yeah, let's get together sometime, Paul.
Yeah. And a lot of times it just ends up not happening.
Right.
And so, obviously I want to help and meet with individuals like that. Mm-hmm. And I can provide great value for them. So it's really important just to make that call.
Now, the crazy thing is that's how you and I started talking about financial planning career for you, is when you called like that saying, I want to get started at a very young age in financial planning. You had a part-time job. You're ready to begin saving and investing.
I did. I knew I was about to go to college, embark on the great student loans that are starting back up for folks out there with federal loans.
Yeah.
So I knew there were decisions that I had to make, that I wanted to make smart, sound financial decisions. I wasn't able to do that on my own. I needed the help of an advisor to help me.
Right, and that was 18 years old.
Yeah, 17.
17. Yep. It's almost yep. Legal, right?
I wasn't legal yet, right?
Right. So the idea is this: not everyone's going to be a Paul Franco, where you come into a financial planner at a young age and say, "I'm ready to go." But those that do reach their goals, whatever their goals may be. That's an amazing thing, because you have the mindset to reach your goals. Financial advisors help you with that mindset, help guide you in the right decisions so that you're making the most with the money you make. And that's what's happened. Now, Paul went through college. Yes, has student debts, and got married, he's buying his first house, building a career, a lot of things going on. Everything costs money.
Yes, it sure does. And being able to just balance those goals and know that I understand the situations, I've gone through them. I want to be able to help you with those situations.
So someone calls you and they say, all right, Paul, I heard you on the radio and you were talking about getting started. What kind of information do you need to be able to help them?
Well, I would like to just know certain information about their numbers. I want to know their income. I want to know their debts. Are they spending more than they're bringing in? That would be the very first place we look.
Yep.
If maybe you are saving towards retirement, but you're in this debts that you're only making minimum payments on, we may end up having to shift away from contributing some to retirement to work towards the debts. Mm-hmm. So it's each individual has their own financial fingerprint. So the answer is going to change. And that's the idea, is it's getting to know them better, learn about what their situation is and how I can help them with that.
Yeah, so you can get started by giving us a call. You can also go to our website, akersfinancialgroup.com. There's a document tab. That document tab has exactly how you can get started on a financial fingerprint. has a list of documents you can bring with you if you like. You can also just not bring documents and sit down and have a talk. That first consultation is absolutely free because we want to get to know you to see if it's a good fit where we can help you where you are and then build from there. The team of advisors of Akers Financial Group are very qualified and ready to help you where you are and then to build a plan that's your plan. There's nothing sitting on a shelf already done for you. We try to guide and work with what they have, right, Paul?
Yeah, we want to be able to look back when we get closer to retirement and be so thankful that we set the plan in place. And the sooner that we do it, the better.
Good plan gets you light years ahead of someone else your age. A good plan gets you light years ahead of someone else your age. The idea is start early, start often. The money will be there when you need it most. I think the idea here on the whole show has been when to make that first call. And the answer is what, Paul?
Today.
Call today. Call right now.
Call right now.
You call Akers Financial Group at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE. And what you do is you call and you say you'd like to have that free consultation with a financial advisor, and we sit down and talk with you. Good job on your first show, Paul. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Brian. I look forward to hopefully being on again.
Yeah, we'll work on that.
See.
We'll see how the schedule works out. No, great job, Paul. All right, thank you very much for listening to our show today. Winning in Retirement is about you and your situation and where you are and where you want to be. We want you to win in your retirement years by taking advantage of the opportunity to begin planning with us at Akers Financial Group. To schedule your free meeting with one of our team of advisors, go to our website at akersfinancialgroup.com. Scroll to the schedule a meeting section and let us know you'd like to schedule your free meeting. That's akersfinancialgroup.com or give us a call at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE. We'll give you a call on Monday to schedule your free in-person or Zoom meeting with one of our team of advisors. Start planning for your retirement now. Go to akersfinancialgroup.com or call us at 833-946-7384. Thank you for listening. I'm Brian Akers from Akers Financial Group, and we want you to be winning in retirement.
You've been listening to Winning in Retirement with your host, Brian Akers of Akers Financial Group. Akers Financial Group offers securities through Arcadios Capital, an SIPC and FINRA member firm. Advisory services are provided through Arcadios Wealth. Akers Financial Group and Arcadios do not share any common ownership. Neither Arcadios nor Akers Financial Group provides tax or legal advice. Advice given on winning in retirement is general in nature, and one should seek further advice from their financial advisor, broker, attorney, and or tax accountant before investing. Be sure to read each prospectus carefully to understand all the risks associated with each investment. Examples and scenarios shared are meant to be for illustrative purposes only. Past performance is not indicative of future results.